My chat is asking what your political views are, just briefly.
Anything that allows me to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. If whatever you're selling politically allows me to piss in his eye pussy, then I'm on board. If the Forward Party will hold down Dan Crenshaw and peel back his eye patch, I'll come cheerlead for the Forward Party. Well, I was told that for the first question I had to ask you, like, what are your views on the age of consent?
Yeah, everyone likes to ask that. I think age of consent should be 18. I think for like 16-year-olds, you can fuck 17-year-olds and maybe 18. That 18 becomes a situational thing. But 18,
like a 3-year window there, you know.
Yeah. Everyone likes to ask that question because they're idiots.
So what exactly makes you a libertarian then? That's the cornerstone of libertarian policy. Is most libertarians just want to diddle kids.
Not really the cornerstone of the policy, but
it is.
My overall.
I've been around the block enough to know.
I would disagree with you there, but my overall domestic policy views center around the idea that I can do what I want, you can do what you want, as long as we're not harming anyone else, not violating someone else's rights, for the most part there. And I think that things need to be in place in order to ensure that rights are not violated, like a police force and things like that. So I'm not like. I stray away. I stray away from libertarianism in some places, but I don't perfectly fit any party. So,
like, it's the cops that do the violating of the rights, though.
I would disagree with you there. Historically, yeah, I would agree with you historically.
Historically, I know now constantly.
I would disagree with you there.
There's
a very small percentage of interactions that violate rights.
No, it's whole departments. Across the country.
Give me an example of how all of these departments are violating rights.
The Louisville Metro Police Department covered up their own rape of kids. They had a program called the Explorers Program, and they were raping kids, and the entire department covered it up. Not only were they the department that murdered Breonna Taylor, they also murdered several other people that year that did not get as much media attention. They had one murder where they arrested the wrong guy, and the community had to go and show the police the security video outside. They had another scandal where they were arresting prostitutes off the street and then forcing them to have sex with them because it wasn't illegal to have sex with a prisoner. A prisoner could consent in Kentucky. So they had a whole scandal where they were forcing prostitutes to sleep with them.
So again, one, you're talking about a specific department, and you're also talking about things that are illegal for that department to do. Illegal for that department to do. Code is? Okay. Yeah, yes, dude. But I'm talking about what the actual laws are for this. If we can make sure that cops follow the laws, that'd be great, right? You and I can agree on that. But
don't follow the laws.
Most departments, you are citing one department out of
my friend,
so many.
My friend, I can go on for days.
Yeah, and I can go on for days about good things that police departments do.
Off my head, but like I can go on for days about whole departments. In Florida, there was a cop that was planting meth on drivers. They had like over 130 instances where he planted meth on drivers that were they were clean. So when the DA went to go and ask the police chief about this instance because he had suspicions about the cop, the chief went after the DA about it and tried to smear the DA and said that he was on like some political agenda.
Okay. Did the DA get anything done there?
Oh yeah, eventually the chief got fired and the cop.
Crazy.
He got away with it for years though, dude. Like I'm showing you that there's
people get away with so many crimes for years. What you're not talking. What you're talking about is crime.
Exactly.
What you're talking about is crime.
It was a small percentage, but I'm going to keep going through police departments. You want to talk about the Baltimore Police Department? They were using riots to go and rob pharmacies so that they could sell the drugs back onto the streets. The cops were caught doing this. Please, you can also don't trust me on anything. Google what I'm saying. The
So
NYPD.
I am not arguing with you that police departments have fucked up. Okay. What I'm saying is that what they're actually allowed to do is not a violation of rights.
Daily.
And that a lot of times, yes, investigations take time, just like criminal investigations also sometimes take years. However, they still, a decent amount at least, get caught, just like a decent amount of criminals get caught. And I'd be totally for more effort into investigations of police departments.
You said a decent amount of criminals get caught. Do you actually know that information?
I'm saying that I was saying that in a way of about the same amount, right, would end up getting caught.
Okay, well, how many criminals get caught? Like, do you know the percentage of crimes? The solve rate is what they call that in policing. Do you know what the solve rate is?
Solve rate is not extremely high, but it also very much depends on the crime.
It is very not extremely high.
It also depends on the crime and the impact that the crimes have.
Yeah,
right.
You can divide
like
it up in violent crime. Like violent crime has like a 40-something% solve rate, 38%, something like that. But then like other crimes have like a fucking 14% solve rate.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to solve crime, but that's also because we have a system that our system gives the benefit of the doubt, whereas other systems around the world do not do that, which is, I believe, a good thing.
You think that hampers? I believe it's a good thing too. That's one of the reasons why I'm against, police abuse, because I think they violate the Constitution anytime that they use excessive force or they kill somebody in the streets.
For the most part, I would agree with you. There are situations. What?
What's your favorite amendment?
Favorite amendment first.
Yeah. Why?
Because we would not be able to have a functioning and, I guess, like adequate governmental system without that. If the people are not allowed to criticize, if the people are not allowed to speak out against things going wrong, your system is bound to fall apart.
I love it. I'm down with that. My favorite amendments are the 4th and 5th.
Fair.
You know what they are?
Yeah, 4th is search and seizure.
Yeah. You know,
5th, like trial.
Yeah, it's all your trial, like your
yeah.
That right to an attorney.
I know my shit. I'm getting a major in criminal justice in a month or in 2 months.
I love it. So I'm not talking to no slouch.
Yeah, I know some of my shit.
Okay, so the thing that you really wanted to talk to me about apparently was media censorship, correct?
Yep. I mean, you were looking at the Crowder stuff, and I kind of got a insinuation as to what your views on this would be. But can you briefly describe your views on it, on social media censorship?
I think a lot of right-wingers that say they're being censored aren't actually being censored. Like fucking, I'm demonetized on Facebook all the time. I'm demonetized on you. I'm like right now, I'm not on YouTube.
Oh yeah, most political topics get demonetized so fast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's just a Coke doesn't want to advertise on content that doesn't fit their, their brand and what they want wholesome shit. They want shit that's non-offensive. It's going to appeal to the most people, and that's their right as advertisers to do that. So when you hear like Steven Crowder bitching about like YouTube censorship and stuff, like it's just it's a marketing ploy for his brand that he's trying to martyr himself. It's not like when I was on the radio, when I was on television, I'm beholden to the advertisers. That's just a thing. Nobody's actually stopping right-wingers from saying, Alex Jones is proof. He got deplatformed. He's still out there. He can own his own server. He can have his own platform. Nobody is stopping him from saying anything. You just don't have a right to Google, YouTube's tools to monetize whatever the fuck you want to say.
So I agree with you that I don't really give a fuck about demonetization. What I care more about is things like banning people, taking content off that is in some cases not On a moral level, not what should be done. Do you have any opinions on that?
Can you agree with me that it's not just right-wing content, it's not conservatives being targeted?
Oh yeah, it's everyone. It's everyone.
It's people who make controversial content.
Yes, yes.
Because that's something I get really upset with right-wingers, that they try to frame it like it's some plot by some overlord. And it's not. It's just business. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, like, I don't have a right to be hosted on YouTube servers. I'm kind of doing it at their pleasure. It's their So, you know what capitalism means, right?
Yes.
It's ownership of the means of production. YouTube owns the platform. They own the analytics. They own the servers that host video that is very video racks up I have like fucking 14,000 or 1,400 videos or something on YouTube. That takes up a lot of server space. Videos are huge. YouTube is paying for that. So, you do kind of have to play by their rules. Now, if you want to talk about a system where this is like the socialist part of the system, where you can create like a worker co-op or an open source platform where we all share in the revenue or something. But I mean,
so when I talk about censorship, I'm talking about like what I would want it to be, not what I would want to force it to be. I think those are two different things, right? So nothing I say I would force onto a platform in any way. But it's just what I think that they should be doing that they're not doing. Just so we have that down.
But why is your should? Like, you're looking at it from your perspective, but your perspective doesn't fucking matter. YouTube's perspective is to make money.
Yes, that's why I'm saying I wouldn't actually force them into this. But again, like going back to like the moral level of what should be happening on these platforms, you have platforms such as Twitter, right? Let's take Twitter before Musk bought Twitter. That markets itself.
Boy, are you?
I'm neutral on him. Don't hate him, don't love him.
Interesting. Okay, go on.
But it markets itself as like a fucking community hub, right? I forget the exact term that they use. But like you have a platform like that, but then at the same time, it doesn't allow itself to be one. And it doesn't make money in the first place. All right. Twitter was a shitty business in the first place. So that's not really a reason for their censorship. Like, you can't say that they were censoring so that they could make money. They weren't making any fucking money.
Well, they were trying to make money.
They weren't trying very well.
Trying and actually succeeding are two different things. Like, you can't say that a business wasn't trying to generate revenue and to turn a profit. They really weren't doing a good job of it, because Twitter, people put a lot more emphasis on Twitter than what it deserves, I think. Like, its user base is minuscule compared to other social media platforms.
Yeah, I just use it as an example because it's one of the ones that's it's just text posts. It's a lot of fucking the worst people in society. But it's got a lot of hot takes. People want to use it for a lot of hot takes. I would say more so, at least, than what I've seen on other platforms.
Takes that they think are hot, and that I've heard a million goddamn times. So
every once in a while, you roll across a hot take.
I just like, what's your beef? What is the gripe that you have with censorship?
It increases the chances that someone's going to commit violent domestic terrorism. There's thousands of studies. I can link you like 2 or 3. I have already meta-analyses on the topic. Censoring people from speech, and a lot of these are looking at social media censorship. Censoring people from speech makes them more likely to go out and commit violent crimes against whatever group that they are pissed at, because they don't have a way of letting out their emotions. So then they have to bottle it up, and then they let it out in violence.
So you think a rabid anti-Semite should be allowed to get on Twitter and just fucking...
I don't think that they should be able to violate what we already have set out as not free speech under the First Amendment, right? So I don't think they should be able to like directly call for violence, things like that. But I think that they should be able to post their opinions there, because then they can see all of the fucking pushback, as opposed to posting it getting deleted, their views getting cemented, them going to the craziest areas of the internet where no one is going to give them pushback, and then talking there.
I mean, there has been studies done on echo chambers and everything. I'd be interested to see what you're citing.
There's also studies done that say that right-wing people are very much less likely on the major social media platforms to be in an echo chamber, whereas people on the left generally see much less content from the other side. So the people on the right are generally seeing a decent amount of sort of lefting, like liberal, not like hard left content, whereas the people on the left generally see less unless they're looking for it.
So that's a weird statement to make, and I don't exactly know what you're referencing. But I would say, I first of all, what we need to do is distinguish what we're talking about here, because like the dominant viewpoint in society is like a neoliberal, pro-capitalist mindset, right? So like if you're talking like CNN isn't like a left-wing outlet.
Yes.
It is very centrist.
Most outlets are like centrist, right. kind of liberal centrist, but pretty centrist. They obviously still have biases, but they're not like far left or far right.
Like a lot of right wingers bring up like Disney is woke and shit, but like Disney isn't woke when it comes to copyright or their tax policy, right? They're very much a ruthless corporation, litigation. And
when people say woke, they're normally meaning like culture war issues, not other stuff. Usually.
I'm not really a culture war guy. I'm more of a policy guy.
I know, but like that's why people call Disney woke, is for culture war shit, not policy shit.
But like those people are stupid. You realize that, right? Like,
yes.
First of all, like to say that Disney is woke now is weird because, you know, Walt Disney himself kind of tiptoed around the Nazi regimen, you know, like fucking. So are they saying that Disney was better when you had a man that was like a neo-Nazi, or at least tacitly supporting the Nazis in charge? That's weird to me. And also,
I mean, that's not what they're saying. That's kind of a bad faith interpretation of what they're saying.
No, it's not bad faith, because I don't even believe that those people know that Walt Disney had Nazi affiliations. I think they're fucking stupid.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that what they're saying goes along the lines of the content that Disney produces and some of the things that some of the lower down employees have said.
Can you do me a favor and define woke?
Liberal. That's my best definition of woke. But it's generally referring to like culture stuff, not policy.
Like, give me examples.
An example of what someone like a right-wing person would call woke would be like fucking gay characters in a movie.
Well, do you disagree
or like drag queen story hour? No. I never said anything about wokeness. You brought this up.
I want to know what woke is. I was hoping you could tell me.
Yeah, best interpretation I feel like would be just like liberal culture war issues. Like the liberal side of culture war issues.
Liberal, you say liberal culture war, but isn't it always Fox that's outraged about M&Ms and Mr. Potato
The liberal
Head?
side of it, the liberal opinion of it. Right? So they would call it woke to have fucking gay people in movies, drag queen story hour, gay marriage, things like that would be like woke issues to a lot of these people.
But those aren't woke. Those are just things that happen. Those are just people existing in space and time.
Yep. But they would call them woke.
Well, they're stupid then, right?
Yes. Agreement. The only thing that I make fun of wokeness is when you get like the crazy people on TikTok. All right, I'll make fun of that shit.
As if there's not crazy people of all stripes of any political persuasion.
Oh, there is. I also make fun of crazy far right people. I make fun of everyone.
Okay, cool. Okay, your bio says that you vote red.
Generally, I vote more red than blue.
So what is the policy that is motivating you?
Policy comes in the form of taxes and things like police forces. That's my main thing. It's not like it's one issue, but police force, considering that is what I'm studying, considering that's where that is my career path that I'm going down, not policing, but the general law and justice system.
So what do you plan on doing with your criminal justice degree?
I'm gonna take a couple of years, work as a paralegal, then go to law school, be a lawyer.
You want to be a lawyer? Okay. What kind of law you want to practice? You have
Either family law or criminal defense.
See what? How are you? You're gonna come around to our side. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure.
You'll be a woke lefty. Sure enough. I promise.
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Do the criminal defense. I highly encourage it. It is the more rewarding path, but it is not the financial path. I
also would not be a public defender, so.
Well, I mean, you might have to take on some cases for the public defender's office when you're just getting started. That's kind of like the thing.
Maybe. I would do my best to avoid that.
Connected, motherfucker. You're like, you got some daddy's money or some shit?
No, I transferred to a school in state that has really good connections. I did a year of fucking private school. Fucked myself with that. Transferred to a cheap-ass in-school state, and I have connections everywhere now. Everywhere in my state.
Well, I wish you the best. Fucking do the criminal justice. It is.
I think family law is more rewarding.
Well, I mean, like, I don't like kids. I don't like I'm not a family kind of guy. So, you know,
that's fair.
Fuck kids. Don't literally fuck kids. Figuratively, I don't.
Yeah, be careful. You're talking to a libertarian here.
Exactly. Damn, he's sharp. So, like, I don't know what we disagree on. I've tried to kind of get a fight started.
I mean, I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to. Well, I'm kind of here to show you're stupid, but
How am I stupid? Please show me I'm stupid.
The fact that you like censorship in some cases.
How do I like censorship?
I mean, considering you didn't have a solid argument against it, but you weren't really on board with everything that I had said about, you know, domestic terrorism leading from censorship, and also people on the left having more echo chambers.
Described the way the system is and the incentive. I didn't actually take a position one way. You know, like, I'm pretty pro free speech. Everybody would tell you that. Like, our rule in chat is 2 slurs. Like, that's what gets you banned. And that's
2 slurs. See, okay, that is I at least time out before that. You got me there.
I mean, like, 2 slurs. That pretty shows that you're not good faith and that you're just wanting to get a rise out of people.
So in your chat, like, not talking about slurs here. Do you allow people to have kind of far right opinions so long as they're not breaking TOS?
Buddy, I encourage it. I want them to call me.
Good.
Everybody wants. Yeah, right winger, get in the Discord. Call in. Let us know what you think.
Good. Props to you. You are special in this space.
I'm not.
You are.
I think you miss
at least for the time that I've been in the space, and the popular streamers that I see in the space are very quick to ban. I think Polly is like a perfect example of this. I know a lot of people don't like Polly, but she is a perfect example of it.
Love Polly. Polly's amazing.
Really?
I would marry Polly. I'd be in a polycule with Polly.
Really?
Yeah. You're pretty cute too. You can join.
Yeah, but I know she's not.
Oh.
So
she is a lovely lady. She's very smart. But I don't talk about other people. I don't watch other people that do the same thing I do. I'm just over here finding out what that news be doing.
That's fair. That's fair. I can look past your like of Polly for this time at least.
I like everybody.
You like everyone? You're a better man than me. I don't like anyone.
Everybody doesn't like me though. That's not a thing. But I like everyone. I welcome everyone.
I mean, so far you're pretty chill. We definitely have views that we disagree on, but you're pretty chill, and
What have we
I can respect
disagreed
that.
on?
Not I'm saying just like in general, we definitely have things that we disagree on.
Like what?
Aside from this topic.
That's what everybody
police.
tunes in for.
Police. We can change this to police if you'd like.
Man, I can keep going with just the corruption department by department and show you.
Except we don't disagree there.
Police department.
We don't disagree that corruption exists. Okay, we disagree on. So do you think, are you an abolish the police, a defund the police? Are you? What's your overall stance on police?
There has to be some enforcement arm to the government, but as the system we have created is far too corrupt. We need to do completely away. They did this in Camden, New Jersey. They fired all their cops, made everybody reapply, rehire, retrained everybody. That's the sort of thing, and we need to pare it down as well. We shouldn't have a militarized police force. I would hope that's something a libertarian could agree with me on. That's why I'm begging you to do the criminal justice and see the way that, well,
I think there is some necessity for a militarized police.
Well, it's because
in specific scenarios.
Well, it's because we have more guns than people out here, and that's the reason why the cops feel that they need to act like everybody that they come across could possibly be armed. I see the cop side of it. However, I read the Constitution in the 4th and 5th Amendment. Those two together, to me, say that it's the cop's job to die if necessary to bring a suspect in, as opposed to them just shooting on sight when somebody's running away. I think the cop is supposed to put themselves on the line for the suspect. The state doesn't have the power to just kill somebody in the street, and the cop is acting on behalf of the state.
I mean, there definitely are scenarios where peaceful apprehension is...
If they are a danger to other people, if they are actively a danger to other people, then I understand it. But other than that, no.
Yeah, but that's why you need to have the ability for that militarization, is for when those scenarios come up, right? I don't think that we need to have as much as we do, but we definitely do need some militarized units.
Well, no, it has been we've got a lot of military equipment. The military industrial complex feeds off of our government, and we need some place to send this surplus of equipment, especially when we're not ramping up in war, right? Well, like we needed Ukraine because we needed to sell some fucking bombs and shit like that. But like the defense contractors supply shit to all these local police departments. They've got fucking tanks and stuff. Like the fucking county here has a fucking tank. It shouldn't have a tank.
Okay, but I'm kind of jealous. I would work for that department just to get in the tank. But yeah, no, I don't think that they need a tank.
This equipment. That's not.
I don't think that they need that. I would agree with you there.
No, they don't, and that should be one of the pillars of libertarianism. Is you don't think the state should have that kind of fucking horsepower, right?
Yeah, I agreed with you the whole time. I said that we need less militarization. You just need some there for the scenarios where it is necessary.
Nope, no militarization. No reason to have militarization. We build a society where like you're never gonna get to zero crime, of course. You've got people that are kleptomaniacs that are doing things just for the exhilaration, but like you can alleviate a lot of fucking of the crime that we see, especially violent crime, if we just get rid of poverty and give people meaning in their lives.
And also rehabilitation through the system. But you will still always have those cases that do need that militarization to actually stop. Just like you will always have those cases that do need the death penalty, right? I very much am a fan of a practically no death penalty, but the Ted Bundys of the world who are continuously escaping prison, even max security prisons, those are people who continue to be a threat to the public when they are in prison. Those are the people that need the death penalty, no one else. Same sort of concept applies to militarization, is that you will have those cases that it is necessary in.
I mean, I've gone through it here on the stream. We've talked about a lot of executions. Like, I make fun of shit, but we do like really serious stories. But like, we've covered executions. And like I've gone back and forth on, okay, is this a case where this is very cut and dry? Because I'm overall not for the death penalty. You sound a lot like me. But my reasoning is because like over 90% of the people on death row couldn't afford an attorney. So we've not dulled out the death penalty. Like if we were doling out the death penalty to rich fucks that did heinous shit, I might be more down for it, right? If we're putting mentally ill people that couldn't afford an attorney on death row, that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there. I think it should be for the worst of the worst crimes, and it should be for people who have shown that they cannot be rehabilitated, which requires some change considering we don't have rehabilitation on a large scale right now. But
Here's the thing: is I don't think anybody could really be rehabilitated. Not that we can't. Not that people can't change. Rehabilitated, such a strange word to me, though, because like it is one of these things. Is like I don't believe in free will.
that's not necessarily what rehabilitation is. Do you know like what is provided and what is like the aim to be provided by a lot of rehabilitation programs?
Oh, you're wanting to like reintegration into society and shit.
That's part of it. That's the end part of rehabilitation.
People's tools to where they won't, the recidivism rate won't be so fucking high.
Yes,
So, like,
exactly.
we totally don't fucking do that.
Some states do. Washington is one of the most like biggest rehabilitative states.
Well, see, it's a blue state.
It's a blue state to an extent. It's half blue state, half Texas.
Fair enough, because I bring it
Eastern
up
Washington
a lot.
exists.
Or Oregon was a white supremacist state. Like it was founded as that. So
Are you in Oregon?
No.
Oh, damn. Oh yeah, you already said you're. Yeah. Yeah, we don't claim Idaho. Idaho is the white supremacist state.
What do we disagree on?
What's your opinion on taxes?
On taxes?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to tell you taxation is theft, like the normal libertarian
Thank
line.
you. I think that line is also stupid.
I would need our tax code is really complicated, and a lot of people don't know exactly who really pays the taxes. A lot of middle class white people have taken far more from the federal government than they've ever paid in. They don't realize that. And there's also, you have to make a distinction between like local taxes, your property taxes, state taxes. Most people don't pay federal taxes. The bottom 50% of income earners in this country pay nothing in federal income tax. The people that really do get fighting, and like I've brought this point up a lot on the stream, the people that get fucked on taxes are the people that make like $100,000 to like $1 million. Those people bear the overwhelming burden of taxes. And then once you get into, and maybe I'll even be generous to get up to like 5 mil. It's once you get so rich that you're able to afford the best accountants and your income becomes more passive because we have these loopholes where, capital gains aren't taxed at the same rate that, a working man's income is taxed at. So once you get so big that you can leverage your wealth, they aren't taxed properly. But there's like a donut hole. Nobody, the bottom 50% of income earners, the people that are making, up to 60 grand a year as like a single person, they don't pay any federal income taxes. They're going to pay your FICA, you're going to pay into, all your Social Security, unemployment. You're going to do your state and local city taxes if that's applicable to you. But you're not going to pay any federal taxes. You get into that, middle income wage bracket, they bear the overwhelming burden of taxes. They're taxed like fucking 30%, sometimes 25%.
Depends on what you consider burden. You do pay some when you're lower. You do pay some federal income tax, just not a ton.
Then you're not doing it right. Then you should, not get taken advantage of by H&R Block and shit.
I mean, who the fuck uses H&R Block? Let's be real.
People that are intimidated by their taxes, sir.
just like looking it
There
up,
are there are people that do, like,
there is a percentage that you pay when you're making like not much.
you
That
should get
like
it back. And you should get other incentive, like there's the earned income tax credit that you'll get, and you get like another
yeah.
$3,000 on top of that.
So, do you think that? What do you think about state income taxes? Because I think that's more of an effect on people. Do you think states? Would you want your state to have decently high income tax, low income tax? What do you think?
I think red states that don't do progressive tax do worse, and you can see it. Like, I mean, how do you want to measure it? So,
I mean,
like at Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, they want to measure it because they're welcoming to business, right? I want you to come build your factory here. We're going to incentivize it. We're going to give you money and subsidies, tax credits for all these years to build your factory in this blah 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 Alabama. Whereas in blue states, they're not begging companies to come and locate there, and they have the ability to tax and raise revenue, and they have better services. That's just a fact.
Talking about income tax, not corporate tax.
And
So
corporate
income
tax is
tax.
what I want to focus. Overall, I want people to, I'm a poor person. I represent a view that poor people should, should be incentivized with extra money. I believe in UBI. Give people money. If you free people up, you unleash their mind power, right? So if I don't have to worry about where my meal is coming from, the roof over my head, that frees me up to be able to create other things, to invent things. If I don't have to worry about healthcare, I'm not beholden to this giant corporation just because they're the only one that provides me healthcare. If there is a strong social safety net, then I am free to be able to go invest in a company and maybe invent new gadgets and shit. Is there going to be a surfer bum that sits on his couch and plays video games and maybe even broadcasts it to Twitch? Fucking A, there's gonna be people that do that, but so.
I mean, that's leeching. But
It's
I mean, you and I can kind of agree on that. You and I can kind of agree on that because sounds like we both don't like high taxes, at least for working class sort of people, middle class and low class people.
Yeah, I want the people with the money to pay the high taxes.
I want corporations to pay taxes. Corporations to be able to pay high taxes, eliminating loopholes, incentivization to follow.
Be like 90%.
I think it should be 90%. But I think that elimination of loopholes will greatly help.
That's a Republican fucking talking point. That don't mean fucking shit. You can't tell me a loophole, can you?
Moving things offshore. It's not a direct loophole, but finding a way to still be able to tax these people that are stationed offshore that are primarily selling within the United States, I would consider that to be a loophole.
I still want to know what we disagree on. When Jimmy Long was up.
Well, you mentioned UBI. Definitely disagree on UBI. I don't think that you should just, for existing, get money.
Why not?
You are inherently taking from other people. That would be a violation of rights in my mind.
Man, like this whole thing is just fucking made up. Okay, here's the thing about libertarianism. Do you know about the concept of initial just acquisition? A contract is only valid if every iteration of the property had came about justly, right? So if I sell you a coat, our contract is only valid if that coat's never been stolen from someone somewhere down the line. So there is virtually nothing from the land, the water, resources that you can point to that somebody hasn't stolen somewhere. So, like, in order to satisfy that initial just acquisition, we have to have some form of a level playing field. I liken it to the Monopoly, man. You wouldn't want to play Monopoly and pass go and not get your $200. You wouldn't want to start without your little pot of honey. Some people start this life in debt, man. They don't even, some people start with, rich parents and they're on fucking third base, and other people start life in fucking debt. and they never have the opportunity to be able to succeed. And you like, we're not talking about, right wingers love to say like equality of outcome instead of equality of opportunity. But what I really am talking about is equality of opportunity. That people need to have. That's why you provide a robust education that is completely paid for. That is why you provide. I want everyone to have food stamps, because then you remove the stigma from like, nobody goes hungry. Everybody gets $700 a month in food stamps. Nobody goes hungry. There's no stigma. Nobody's like turning their nose up when somebody uses their food stamp card. It's just your right as an American citizen. And it should apply to.
There's always going to be stigma around something. But.
No, why? Why? There doesn't have to be stigma.
It's just human nature. There's always going to be something that is stigmatized.
If it's just a thing everybody gets, then that removes the stigma. Why? Like.
Every dude gets emotions. Is there a stigma around male emotions? Yes. Male mental health issues? Yes.
Hey, okay, hey, we might be on to something. I'm gonna lay this on you, and this is me just debuting a new idea. I thought about doing a segment called "Being a Better Bro." Everybody's talking about how there's these young disaffected men that aren't catered to by media, even though like it seems like all media caters to them. I'll leave that aside. Since there's media that doesn't cater to these young disaffected men that are all emotional and don't know what to do with it, they're all looking for self-help gurus and shit. I want to do Being a Better Bro.
Talking about,
it's going to be about insecurity.
What specifically? You're being very vague.
Insecurity was the reason behind all of my horrid behaviors when I was a younger male. And I did some just shit ass things as a late teenager, my early 20s. I acted horrible to my significant others. I acted horrible to my family members and friends, and it was all out of insecurity.
I wouldn't say that for like the majority of men having actual issues, it's out of insecurity though.
Oh, I think it is. I think a lot of people are just insecure in their manhood, insecure in their place in the world, insecure that they're going to be able to, provide for somebody. That's the male instinct. Insecure that they're going to be able to. Like, for me, it was insecure in my place as a broadcaster, being able to get on a microphone and being able to talk with the best of them. And because I really did suck. I
would say it's more so suppressed emotions, right? So, slight tangent. There was a study done a while ago that looked at emotions of, they were like 2-year-old kids, all right? And basically what was done, they had a bunch of monitors on them to monitor heart rate and like hormones, like adrenaline, stuff like that. And it was a group of guys and a group of girls. And they had a baby monitor. And the baby started crying. It was a fake baby, but like they had the baby monitor start playing a baby crying. The girls had a rush of emotions and went to try to console, like do their best to console through the baby monitor. The boys had a rush of emotions, tried to push it down, didn't know what to do with those emotions, and tried to break the baby monitor. I think that's a perfect exemplification of the fact that I think that men have more emotions than girls. Or like men have more emotions than literally anyone else, but they just don't know how to deal with them because they have more. And coupled with the idea that they're told by society to push them down. So I would say it's that above anything else. What?
Where is this societal pressure?
Be a man, man up, grow some balls. You can't you can't have mental health issues. You can't go to therapy. You can't be sexually assaulted. All of these things contribute.
Man.
What?
That sounds awful. That's like what a right-winger would call woke.
Yeah, I know. There's a reason that I never go on fucking tirades against woke in terms of culture. On most culture things, I am not on the right.
So what are you on the right on?
Things like taxation, things like gun rights are one thing, police, and then, like I said, I'm libertarian in terms of domestic policy. So when it gets to foreign policy, I am more willing to put boots down. in specific scenarios.
Emotions? Are you trying to mansplain emotions to us?
Yes.
Are you wanting to occupy this space in the manosphere? Are you gonna like you seem like you've got your head on your shoulders, unlike a Jordan Peterson.
I do talk about it like fairly often, but I don't know. It's not like the biggest thing that I talk about, so I don't really care. Like I'm not gonna make that my brand. I think it's stupid to make that your brand.
What is your brand? Do you know what your brand is?
My brand is talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about and making fun of everyone. And also having conversations like these and going on panels and doing debates. I would call this more of a conversation than a debate because I thought we were going to disagree more on that original topic. But
have we disagreed any?
We've disagreed on things like UBI. We've disagreed on things like the.
You didn't give me a good argument though. I thought I made a really good argument for UBI. You didn't argue back with it.
I said that you're inherently taking from someone else, and I don't think this comes down to a principle thing of I don't think that you should get things for free without any sacrifice, right? So I don't think you should get the UBI.
Okay, man. So do you know your U.S. history, right?
Yes.
During the Western expansion, they just handed out the 40 acres and a mule.
Yes.
The government just gave people land. That wasn't fair to us now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why?
I don't think you should get things for free. That was getting things for free.
But the fact that like my great-great-grandfather was given land and there were colleges put in place to teach them how to farm the land and shit. The fact that that happened, that has an effect on society, and there's a generational wealth that comes with that. So in order to correct for that and make sure that everybody has a level playing field, you need something like a UBI, universal college, university paid for, all the way to doctor.
Would that not allow the people who started out with more money to just continue to have more money?
How?
Everyone gets the UBI. Unless you're going to discriminate in who gets the UBI.
No, I'm for universal because like that makes
great. So if I start out with $10,000 and someone else starts out with $0, they now have $1,000. I now have $11,000. I still have more. I still have more ability to make more out of that money.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't actually solve the inequality there.
Well, no, the inequality is not between somebody who has $1,000 and $10,000. The inequality is between like us and the 771 billionaires.
I know, but I was giving you like an example there of the fact that if it's for everyone, if it's an actual universal basic income,
yeah,
it doesn't actually break any of those inequalities. It just makes everyone have more, but it doesn't break the inequalities there. So if your reasoning for it is breaking the inequalities, you wouldn't have a universal income. You'd have it for specific income groups.
That's the inequality that I'm concerned about isn't in that level. As I said, it's with the billionaires. That's where I would go and break the inequality. Like I'm going to tax the fuck out of billionaires. Billionaires shouldn't exist. There's a meme that goes around on the internet. It's like you get to like $999 million. Like you won capitalism. Congratulations. That's your limit. You can't go any further. That sounds right to me.
You think that having a private market for space exploration could eventually lead to very good things for society, for humanity?
No.
Really?
I think NASA has done a wonderful job. I think NASA has continued to do a wonderful job as the government has given Elon all kinds of money.
Will NASA do you think NASA is realistically going to actually open it up to more people going to space?
When you say more people going to space, are you talking about the commercialization of space?
That is one way to get more people into space. Because I think that's a cool idea.
Not give two shits about that.
Do you think that scientific exploration is important?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if you're a scientist that doesn't work for NASA but you want to go to space and study?
Well, in our current system, we do have quasi-private governmental organizations. You could work for Boeing, but you're probably not going to be on a rocket if you work for Boeing.
Exactly. But Where that opportunity can come in is through commercialization.
Why would I give a shit about somebody making money off of space exploration?
It's about giving a shit about actual space exploration, being able to study, and also talk about all the fucking kids who want to go to space that will never get to go to space.
You're not making an argument that
I'm making an argument that it allows for more people to go to space, which I think is inherently a good thing.
I don't give a shit about.
What is something that you do give a shit about in terms of
When
science?
we're talking about space exploration, we're talking about like what is best for us as humanity, what scientists can discern from the things in the universe, and they know better than fucking Elon Musk. I don't give
I'm
a
not saying
shit
that
how
Elon Musk is going to do it, but I'm saying he opens the door for more people to be able to do it than just those working through NASA or for NASA.
it's I mean, like fucking Bezos's dick rocket is also not a viable option.
Right now, no, but take it down the line far enough, you get there. It has to start somewhere. It has to start with billionaires because no one else is going to start it. No one else has the ability to start it.
NASA was doing it until we defunded them. How do you think we got to the moon?
I'm not saying that NASA doesn't go to space. I'm saying NASA will never find a way to get more people up there. NASA will never try to make it a tourist type thing.
People in space. I don't want to do a tourist type thing. I don't want billboards in space. Like I want space to be, sacred.
Yeah, and I think that let's say certain national parks, right, could be sacred, but people should still be allowed to go to them and take that in.
Like, so the ability to go and take that in is so god awful expensive, and I don't think the people should exist that would have the money to make that happen.
Right now, it's expensive. And in the same way that TVs were once something that only the highest class people could get. But what happened? They got cheaper through the market. In the same way that, yes, it will take a long time because of how expensive it is, but eventually you get cheaper and cheaper.
But that's not, the market doesn't make TVs cheaper. Computing power does. The power processors goes exponentially every 2 years. So it's just a curve that happens. That's why electronics get cheaper.
They get cheaper through innovation. Who makes those innovations?
That's not a market thing. Well,
who makes the innovations?
Which innovate? Okay, so like this is the thing.
Let's take let's take graphics cards or CPUs. Who makes those innovations? It's companies, right? Yes, there's a profit motive for them to make them, but then the market goes, okay, well you have to provide the best thing at the lowest possible price.
Hold on.
That is what the market incentive is.
Do you do you know that a company makes a CPU, or was it a person?
It's a person working for a company, people working for a company.
I don't know about a CPU specifically, but I can tell you that satellite technology is Soviet. I can tell you that the computer itself was made by Alan Turing, and he was working for British intelligence. That innovation is really in the public sector. It's not in the private sector. That's
the initial innovation, and then you expand on that in a lot of private sector ways.
You mean all the work. When it goes to the private sector, they're basically just taking the technology that was made in the public sector and then selling it back to you with forced obsolescence and shit.
They're making it a better product.
iPhone to where it turns off after 2 years.
They're making it a better product. They are making it cheaper. That is what the private sector has the ability to do.
A better product. Or do they sell you the idea that it's a better product?
Is the iPhone 4 or the iPhone 12 better?
I don't know. I fucking hate Apple.
Is Samsung's first phone versus their Galaxy S10 or whatever a better phone?
I had an LG, and apparently it doesn't work anymore because of the 5G thing. It's the best phone I ever had, but I don't really know that much about it.
Which one do you think is better, though?
But cellular technology was invented by the Russians. The satellites that it bounces off of was invented by the Russians.
Okay, which phone is better? You're just skirting around the question. Which one is a better phone?
So the thing about your question is it implies that it's better because of whatever a company did to it, and not because of the reason that I explained earlier, that processing gets better every 2 years.
What makes processing get better? It doesn't happen in the public sector.
That's just a thing that happens. That's not a market force.
Does it happen in the public sector?
Yeah.
In the United States? Our public sector, for the most part, no.
Do you know where chips are made, or like, because like we kind of
chips are made in like Taiwan, China, that area.
All chips are made in Taiwan, yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is coming.
The newest processing chips are made in Taiwan. They have a monopoly on the industry, and they are they are a quasi-governmental company. It's a very weird setup with their government.
Yes. Can you hear this notification I'm getting right now? I just want to make sure that it doesn't interrupt our conversation. Okay, it's about to give me a TTS.
Also,
anyways,
Gorps, what is you and Justin's take on BLM? It's not big, but I'm curious. Cheer one.
Sorry, my chat is asking for us to talk about takes on BLM. Do you want to do that, or do you want to keep on this one?
Takes on BLM? What do you want to? What kind of take you want on BLM?
The company's fucking stupid. I think some big aspects of the movement are misguided, but I can appreciate the fact that they have good intentions. Like the general people that would support BLM have good intentions.
This is another one of those things. Like I'm not gonna know anything about like any of the like personalities. I don't do personality shit, right? So like concepts and laws and shit like that is what I focus on. I like my big thing with when people bring up BLM is they usually talk about like they burnt down cities, but I can go like by instance and show you who was charged. And it's usually the Boogaloo Boys. It was a right-wing group. The Minneapolis Police Department. It was the Boogaloo Boys that were charged for that. And then usually right-wingers are like, "Well, I don't trust the feds." And I'm like, "Brother, let me tell you who BLM was out there protesting. I got some news for you."
So again, that's not what I'm talking about when I say misguided. When I say misguided, it's things like the fact that once police contact is made, white people are actually more likely to be killed by police than black people. It's things like that, and it's things that don't take into account the fact that age and socioeconomic status are the biggest predictors for crime. That will automatically make black people have more or like a disproportionate.
Wrong.
What?
You're correct on your statistic. Mm-hmm. Like more white people are killed by the police, but you're not more
by percentage. By percentage, once police contact is made, I can send you this study, bro. But it's looking at all of the same data. He's gone. He's gone. Hello. You can see me twice now.
No, it's more white people are killed, but like more likely to be killed is like natives. And then I think
so between black and white people, once police contact is made, white people are more likely to be killed by police. I can send you this study, but it is using all of the same data that people who support BLM. What?
Well, see, that's one of those things that's called a lurking variable, right? Because like we know for a fact that black people are more likely to be pulled over.
Yeah, and I was about to explain that when you pieced out. So let's look at the two biggest predictors for crime, which are age and socioeconomic status. Okay, obviously, crime is going to make you more likely to.
Absolutely.
Crime is going to make you more likely to have police contact. I'm not saying that all of these people are criminals, but it's a more likely thing. So you have people, a race in America that has an average age that is, I believe, just over the peak age for crime, right? Meaning a higher percentage of this population is going to be around that age versus white people who have an average age of like 53 or something. And then you also have the fact that socioeconomic status plays a part in this, and you have more black people who are of lower socioeconomic status than white people. All this plays into more police contact. Can we stay on topic first before we get into that? So all of these things play into the fact that there is more police contact, right? But that's not necessarily racism by the police. It is just where the crime is. And so once you have police contact, considering that white people are more likely to be killed, I don't necessarily, that's why I say that it's misguided. Is that when you actually look at the statistics and you look at the reasons for the statistics, you can be mad about other systems in place, sure, but being mad about policing
I'm mad
is
about
not
police
necessarily that.
killing people. I didn't really bring the race into it. I know you wanted to talk about BLM, but like me personally, I cover it as police killing people. Once again, going back to like it's a violation of the Constitution. Very libertarian position I thought that I had.
Yeah, I don't think police killing people is good, but I also think that it's important for like movements to be guided in with a correct analysis of facts. That's why I brought that up. Is that
do you know that our police forces kill more people than the next 10 countries below us combined?
Yep.
Over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I know something like that.
In
at
one
least.
year, our cops kill more people than the next 10 countries behind us for 10 years combined. Like it's wild.
Is that per capita or is that just in numbers? Do you know?
No, that's just the numbers.
Okay, so it's also very important to bring in per capita.
10 countries are smaller, but that's still astronomical.
Yeah, I mean, some of these countries are astronomically smaller.
Yes, and
I'm saying that it's important to put facts into the reality here for a second in terms of comparing these.
Like all the other countries total up over 10 years, it's like 100 people. And with us, we're 1,000 in a year. Our police kill over 1,000 people in a year.
So do you know what those other countries were?
It's the next 10 industrial countries, France, Sweden.
Are we just talking industrial countries?
Yes.
Okay. That makes it a different story.
Okay?
If we're talking actual
like
countries
add
in
the
general.
Philippines in there where they're executing innocent people in the streets every day.
Okay, just making sure because it was going to be very inaccurate if that's what we were talking about. So you also have these other countries that just have overall lower crime rates, especially violent crime, and that will obviously play a part into police killings.
Higher standards of living and more robust social safety nets. Some of them have UBI.
Some of them do. Great for them.
That goes back to my point from earlier. You take care of people's needs and you eliminate crime.
To an extent, I mean, you will still always have crime, and there are multiple ways to
an argument against doing the policy that works the best.
There are still multiple ways to go about this, and there is a thing to be said about principle as to what your government should be able to do. I don't think that giving specifically federal government a lot of power is good. I wouldn't give a fuck if a certain state decided to do UBI, because I don't give a fuck what a state does.
Here's the thing: you mentioned federal government. You say giving them a lot of power isn't good, but here's my rebuttal to that: is we have given corporations so much goddamn power. So who am I supposed to turn to for my grievances? If 3M dumps a shit ton of chemicals in the Tennessee River, like if I don't have a government with an arm like the EPA that is largely sufficient enough to take care of that problem and enforce 3M to do the right thing and to clean it up, who do I turn to?
I mean, that is the government's job in a specific way, but I would say that can come in the terms of incentives. Incentives to ultimately do the right thing. Tax break incentives.
Oh, my friend, tax dude, that don't work, man. Companies are ruthless. Companies are just gonna bleed you dry. Tax incentives do not work.
Really, they don't work. If you can make more money by doing the right thing. I thought it was you that was saying that companies just want to make money.
No, they're
going to make more money by doing the right thing.
They're going to tell you they're doing the right thing, and they're still going to do the wrong thing. I assure you.
I mean, yeah, you still need an enforcement to make sure that they're doing this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that having those breaks and having it enforced.
You got to have enforcement, and that takes tax money.
Mm-hmm.
And the corporations defund enforcement because they're so big they're able to buy our government. That's the problem.
It's also not something I agree with.
Do what?
It's also not something I agree with. Like that they I don't think that they should be able to do that.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were telling
No,
me.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I don't think they should be able to.
Well, see, and then like
But how you go about that, I mean, it's at this point damn
removing.
near impossible.
Okay. Say one of the biggest industries that affects our laws is the pharmaceutical industry. We should nationalize that. Nobody should be able to make money off of medicine. Yeah, the people who are making it should get paid.
I think you should be able to make money off of medicine to an extent. So this is something that
No. Well, who?
No?
Okay, like so the COVID vaccine, fucking like Moderna's wanting to sell it for like $130 something now. Like we came up with that technology. The public sector funded that, and now they're wanting to stick it to us, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, the public sector funds everything so that we can have a functioning society. So they fund food so that we can have our food prices that we have, right? It is inevitable that you are of.
Okay, so you're making a broad statement, and then like when you say food, we fund like the corn industry. We fund a
go look through the food that you eat and see what doesn't have corn in it. Like in terms of like packaged food and stuff.
Because we fund that industry. It's because they have a strong lobby. Like you cause and effect here. You're getting it wrong. Like all our shit has corn syrup in it because the corn lobby is so powerful.
Yeah, yes, because we can make corn for cheap because of the corn lobby. But that is not the only industry that is subsidized. Yes, but again,
the corn lobby.
Just trying to immediately eliminate that, like right now, would not work so well, considering the American people at this point are accustomed to corn syrup in everything, and a lot of people in America like the fact that it's there.
Immediately eliminate it, but also like we need to transition industries into being worker owned.
You can have worker owned industries in America. You can have that under capitalism. There are companies like that in capitalism. You can also have communes under capitalism. They exist.
Incentivize that instead of incentivizing corporations and throwing money at Wall Street.
I mean, there's no disincentive to it. Okay, if you want to work a co-op, you can go make a worker co-op. There's absolutely nothing stopping you.
Government should incentivize it instead of throwing money at Wall Street and shit. That's what I just said. Here's what I want to throw at you. A lot of libertarians are like, rich people being rich doesn't affect you. Are you one of those people?
To an extent. I don't think it affects you in a way that makes it okay for you to, for example, like take money directly from rich people to give to someone else, things like that.
Like taxation?
More like things like a UBI or things like I don't know your opinion on reparations, but in some of the like suggestions for reparations, some of those.
You a rich person?
Middle class. I'm a college student, so I'm not like
reparations. Remember I told you about the initial just acquisition thing. Do you think black people they were kind of locked out of the system for 600, 800 years, the entire fucking duration of their time being on this continent, up until 30 years ago, maybe?
You know who else was locked out of the American system? African immigrants, right? Because they weren't even here. When they come here, and they do better usually, because they have different cultures.
Wait, you're trying to say that there's something fundamentally wrong with black people in this country?
No, not black people. Specific cultures that come in generally low-income neighborhoods, black and white, and Mexican, and Asian.
Who caused those low-income neighborhoods?
It's not about them being low income. It's about priorities, right? That again, I can bring up more studies. There have been studies that show that people are ostracized from their community for going to college. What?
Hold on, like, do you know about Black Wall Street in Wilmington, South Carolina?
I don't know everything about it, but I know some. Why?
We had thriving black communities all throughout the country in Reconstruction, and white people bombed those communities.
Yes. That doesn't change the fact that you have cultures within America today that ostracize you for leaving a neighborhood, that ostracize you for going to college. These are all things that will inherently lead people to not better their financial situation.
I've listened to Kendrick Lamar too, my friend. Like, what?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual studies showing this, that this is a thing that is happening within certain communities, certain low-income communities.
Then why wouldn't you want to make them? Why wouldn't you want to open up access to them, give them healthcare, education?
It is the people who have access that are ostracized from the communities. That's where the issue comes in. That's why I say that this is a culture issue in some regards, because it's the people who have that opportunity that are fucked by the community, that are hated by the community.
Okay, so
it's the same. It's similar to the reason that a lot of gay people don't come out until they've already left their community, because they are ostracized by their community. It's the same exact thing that these people. And a lot of people don't want to come out because they don't want that ostracization. It's the same principle.
Those aren't analogous at all.
It's the principle, the culture principle.
Also, like, I don't think you're qualified, nor am I, to speak on, like, you know, conditions in the hood.
I'm not talking about conditions. I'm talking about studied cultures. Pretty much everything I speak of is based off of studies.
Friend, like, when you're talking about people not being able to leave a community, like, do you know how rural some native communities are out on the reservation?
Mm-hmm.
I can see there being some resentment to, you know, oh, you're uppity, you went and you went to college, now you have a career, and you're not here with me where it's 100 miles to the nearest town. But there's a condition that was put in place by the federal governments. The reservations are there because of a policy that the federal government took, just like the ghettos are there because of a policy that the federal government took. You understand that, right?
Yeah, but the quote unquote ghettos have the same exact scenarios, or the same exact like culture scenarios as some reservations, when it's not 100 miles to the closest city. It is like 5. It is 5 to leave that area, if that. So you can't just say that it's like an oh, you left and you're not like near us. Like,
well, you also can't expect somebody to want to leave their area. You can't it kind of sucks that people can grow up in a town and like there's no opportunity for them. That really sucks. We should bring an opportunity to that town.
I agree. Opportunity zones are good.
Huh?
I agree. Opportunity zones are good.
What do you mean by an opportunity?
It's a Republican policy. More specifically, a policy Trump pushed for.
What does it entail?
It entails bringing businesses and the ability for people to get jobs in these businesses to low-income areas.
Tax cuts, isn't it?
In some cases, but it still provides jobs. It provides jobs to some of the highest unemployed communities. I would say that is a pretty good thing.
So that is oftentimes a tagline that's corporate speak for we're going to come in, we're going to take advantage of people, we're going to pay them like the lowest amount we possibly can. We're not lifting them out of poverty or anything. We're actually exploiting them, and then we're going to pat ourselves on the back for how good we've done. And they're probably getting a shit ton of tax incentives.
So would you rather that the people just don't have jobs? That people continue to be unemployed?
Why do we have to shovel money at these heartless corporations that are just sucking from the teat of society? That doesn't seem libertarian.
Because in some cases, everyone, well, not everyone, but in some cases, realistically, you have to go away from your ideology. That goes for any ideology. So if you want to let people have the ability, if you want to let people have the ability to have that personal responsibility, opportunity zones allow for personal responsibility.
I don't think so. I think that's just a marketing slogan. I don't think you have like data to back that up.
That employment can improve conditions as opposed to being unemployed?
That wasn't the claim that you made. Your claim was that these opportunity zones actually provide employment.
I can go find stats. I didn't have them ready because I didn't plan on talking to them, but I can find stats and send it to you afterwards.
We're gonna wrap this up here. It's been fun. I wanted to try to disagree with you on something. We
got there. We had a couple small disagreements, and there are definitely more. We did.
I don't think you put up a very good fight with your disagreements.
I mean, mostly because in your explanations, you didn't actually give time to respond. You just changed the subject again. So, you know, that's just so you know.
Oh, no. I think you just did a horrible job responding to UBI.
Responding to UBI, I gave you my reasoning, and you didn't actually disprove my reasoning. You just went off about the same thing.
Well, I mean, like your reasoning is basically like, I feel like it's unfair.
I feel like it's unfair, and it also doesn't solve any of the inequity issues or inequality issues. It doesn't do that.
We weren't saying that it's a panacea for everything. It's a good start. It allows. I made a specific claim that it allows people the freedom to be able to be entrepreneurs, to start their own business, to not be tied to companies. Because that, to me, that's the biggest issue with our country right now, is that companies have way too much fucking power. So I wanted to put the power into the people. That's what the UBI is about.
I mean, you can also get a job, get a decent job, get like a construction job or something. Save up a little bit. You can start a business. Especially in 2023, you can start a business very fucking easily. You can also start like a sole proprietorship or an LLC of construction. These are all very easy things.
Because a lot of people, the reason I said it frees people up to start jobs is mainly because of insurance. We've got to provide insurance to people, my friend, because people are stuck in these shitty ass jobs that they don't want to be at because they provide insurance. If I go out and strike it out on my own, insurance is too expensive for me to be able to bear that burden.
Get a better business model then. Like yes, businesses take time to like get off the ground and stuff. But at the end of the day, you have a good business model, you can work for yourself. You don't have a good business model, then work for someone else and work for a good boss. The market forces also apply to jobs, and you can see that so clearly post-pandemic.
Good boss. That like, where the fuck do you find these unicorns at?
I've only had one bad boss in my life.
Well, also like your personal fucking experience isn't really evident.
Where do you find these unicorns at? You reverse fucking question people during, like, when you come in interview. You reverse interview your boss, all right? And you look at reviews of jobs online, and you make a good choice given that. And you don't cave on things that you want. You learn to negotiate. Things like that.
And all of the privilege that you have to have that backs up the way you just described.
All of that can be done on a smartphone, on a library computer. That requires no money, no nothing. That just requires effort. Effort that can be put in after you get off of your other job that you hate. It's effort. If effort is privilege, then sure.
I don't want people to work jobs they hate for companies that are doing shit that's polluting the environment, that's dumping chemicals in our river. I fundamentally want to rework society so that it works for people. I don't know why all of your positions seem to come back to supporting big heartless corporations.
Because supporting those corporations allows people to have the ability to have personal responsibility.
No, it doesn't. That is an assumption.
It is an assumption that, for example, having a job as opposed to being unemployed gives you more financial ability to save or invest or start a business.
Though, you're saying like, oh, corporations are the only way to provide people jobs,
or the military. The military does it really well.
You shouldn't force people to have to go kill people.
You don't. Most people in the military don't go kill people. Just so you know.
Or be a tangentially involved in the killing of people in wars for profit that ExxonMobil and Raytheon is raking in the money over. What the fuck? Why would that be?
Is the cook in Fort Worth, Texas? Is he supporting a war, or is he getting paid and making eggs? Like,
he's supporting a war.
No, he is making eggs, bro.
After our veterans, man, like, it's once they get on the other side of service, we do not take care of them, especially if they develop something while they're in. A lot of them have lung problems because of burn pits and shit, and we aren't taking care of them. And you're acting like this is some be all end all that's gonna help you get somewhere in society.
Did I ever say that I like that we don't take care of them? You don't need to fund the military as much as we do, but some of that funding can go to the VA instead.
Oh, we shouldn't be funding the military the way we do.
Some of it can go to the VA.
Right,
like I said earlier, I would prefer more bids down, so you need the funding.
Well, Gorbs, my man, it was a pleasure having you on. I think you're a lefty. You can stop lying to your audience.
Okay, buddy.
I'm gonna convince you. I'm gonna bring you over to the dark side.
You can try. Many have tried. I used to be on the dark side. Don't plan on going back.
You're not really on the right.
No, I'm libertarian, but I generally lean a little bit more right.
Libertarians are on their own. All right, have a good one, my friend. Have a good stream.
All right, peace out, bro. How do we think we did? Say hi to YouTube also quickly. If anyone wants to say hi to YouTube, this is all gonna be on there.